Follow them on PhantomStar.com, Twitter, YouTube, Podomatic, and iTunes. This is brought to you by Lou Crate and Tweaked Audio. Now it's time for the Guys Night Podcast!
Step in the theater, what do you find? So many movies, not enough time. Action, thriller, horror, comedy, even foreign documentaries. So there's something out there new to review. We try to step it up with a G and crew. Better prepare, welcome to Step in the theater, what will you find? So many movies, not enough time. Action, horror, thriller, comedy, foreign documentaries. Welcome to Guys Night. Guys Night.
Alright, so we just got out of the 2016 film Fences. We got IMDb up, starring Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, Russell Hornsby, yeah. I can't pronounce this name for the life of me. He played the brother Gabe.
You mean the dude from Forrest Gump?
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh!
McKetty
Wilson, yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Henderson and Javon Appido. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but for more or less, we actually found out at the end. This is based on a play, but this is an adaptation brought to film. The main stars that we're going to talk about are going to be Denzel Washington and Viola Davis because they hit it in this movie. Like,
Viola killed it. Like the one scene where she's like bawling and she's got the snot running on her face.
Fun
that
fact,
was amazing.
your favorite person did the play originally. James Earl Jones.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he did the play. Back in the 80s, I seen that. Seen a few clips. I was like, because Denzel and Viola...
He played Denzel's role? Or
yeah,
he
he
wrote
did.
it?
And then I seen bits and pieces from the play of like everything else like that. The movie version is more seriously taken than I did see in the play, even though you do have some of the jokey moments in there. But it is almost basically the same. I like Denzel better in the movie than the play.
I was going to say, all right, we have to give a shout out to Denzel because I'm not going to lie, as an actor, I feel like a lot of his stuff is repetitive, but in this, he nailed like just the snarky, the sarcastic, the like, but still wise, and at times, you know, a lot of his situations are morally correct in his eyes and then to the viewer's eyes. Just character. And this character that he creates is just hands down like unique on its own. I mean, he's a bit of an asshole. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he's a dick.
He is. But he does it in his own genuine way where
He's
it's like you can't hate him,
He's the
but you
dad
can.
that's too hard on you,
Yeah.
but for good reasons. And he portrayed it very well. He brought it out. He was was like, wow, like this reminds me of like certain childhood moments. I could definitely relate. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah, Denzel reminded me of my father, like, throughout the whole damn movie. And I mean, like, I can say some moments, like, a lot of shit that Denzel did, my dad did.
Yeah.
Except for alcohol part. That's the only thing, is like, I'm like, everything else, I'm like, oh, yeah, that, stepping out, did that, Love Child, had that too. So I'm like, damn, this is almost like me watching my life story a little bit.
And I'm not going to lie, like, the beginning of this movie, like, it, you know, at first, because I was going over to you, and I was like, hey, you know, it's running a bit slow. Like, I'm wondering, when are we going to get to the real nitty-gritty? Like, it seems like it's just like a day-in-the-life story. But then, this event happens where...
The passage of time just starts increasing.
Yeah, and you realize he's gonna be a daddy, but he's gonna be a daddy from somebody who's out of wedlock.
Right.
And that's when I was like, oh, and I thought he was just gonna say like, oh, he's just cheating on her and that, but they're like, I'm gonna be a daddy. I'm like,
it had lots of.
Oh, damn.
It went to the point where you thought it was going to be predictable, but then it became like totally unpredictable. Because I thought it was going to be, oh, I've been having an affair, not, oh, I'm having the kid. And then it's like you get the call and it's like something happened at the hospital. And you think one thing and then something else is happening.
Yeah, it was the complete opposite. I thought the baby was gonna die. It's like, nope. Yeah, turns out the mother died and the baby's alive and healthy. I'm like, wow.
It totally like it M. Night Shyamalan basically.
All right. Oh yeah. While it's on my mind, the editing in this movie, hands down. There's one scene that really stuck out that I was like, wow, that's really good editing. Because at first it threw me off. Being a big movie buff, I noticed that the gin in the bottle in the beginning, like, it seems so small, but it's like it was empty. Not like empty, but it was like there was a little bit more, then it was full. And I was under the impression it was one shot, but the fact that it made me believe that it was one shot, but that threw me off, just proves to me the editing in this movie is just fantastic because it's so seamless. Yeah, you focus on that, but you don't focus on like what's going on. I'm like, wow, it's not choppy. This easily could have been like when every moment hits you, when Denzel's about to attack at his son, or when an emotional moment's about to happen, you're in that moment and you feel like it's actually happening and it's unseamless. If there was a cut, you would not know it.
I like how they stuck with the roots of the movie. Because, the minute I heard the dialogue, the minute I was hearing it, I was like, this sounds like a play.
Yeah.
I was like, this would seem so much better as a play. And, like, the small scenery, and I noticed it was, like, small scenes, you know what I mean? There was no major epic escapes or anything like that, and it just stuck with the core of what, like, I've never seen a play, but I can definitely hear my interest is piqued because of it. And I can see it being a play. Like, at the end, I'm like, this would have been better as playing, and it was like, boom, based off the play. And I'm like, that makes a lot more sense.
Now, you were mentioning the Gabriel thing.
Yeah. Like, I thought it was weird that the brother had such, like, large religious overtones, but then, like,
His name.
his name was Gabriel. And you just heard Gabe throughout the movie until that one scene, and I was like, oh, that makes sense, because Gabriel is an angel who blows the horn that starts Revelations, and I was like, oh, that's a cool little wordplay they added into the movie.
And then the other foreshadowing was the song, the blues song with the dog. It literally is a foreshadowing of what Denzel's life is, and I'm like, wow, okay.
I would say I enjoyed the family dynamic. Like, you have, like, okay, you get his older son, Lion, and you can see how that relationship was and everything else like that. Like, Denzel, he went to jail.
So he was the absentee father.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, he's still, like, well, his son still loved him in either way. It's like, it wasn't his fault. He tried to provide for his family by being a thief, and he killed a man. So it's like, it's kind of like, oh, wow, like, he killed a guy. That's kind of shocking. But it's like, okay, so... But still, his son still has a relationship with him and everything like that. And his son turned out okay, but it turned more into him.
Right.
Because he's
both
like...
sons are mirror images. One's what he could have been.
Yeah.
The one is what he was.
Yeah, it's like you got the good parts and the bad parts. Even though the other son has, like, Lion, he has some of the bad parts. But it's like, at the end of the day, he's still going to be like his dad, but he's going to providing for his family no matter what he was doing. And then you have his son... I forget the son's name.
Corey.
Now, Corey, he's, like, he got to have his father for all these years, but, like, he's going through the emotions.
But it was like he got all the negative aspects
Yeah.
of his father. He didn't get any
Yeah.
positive.
It-
But then
He was very one-sided. He said he
passed
only
it.
saw as a threat. Like, he never saw his father
it's
as...
tough love at this point in time. It's like, but for a man like that, it's like you go through going through his life story and everything when he was a kid, and seeing that he left home at 14 after his dad beat the shit out of him, and his dad was trying to have sex with the girl that he was having sex with when they were like 13.
Right.
So it's like he fought his father, went away, his dad beat the shit out of him, goes on his own. He's out there since he's 14, doing what he has to do, has a kid with her, with his new wife and everything else like that, goes to jail for murder, comes out, finds someone new, falls in love, has a kid, tries to do right by the kid, by everything else like that, but he ends up turning into his father himself, just like with the negative energy into him. So it's like, it's fucked up, but he's still there providing to provide for his son. And I get the concept of him doing that speech, like when he wants to say, like, everything he's doing is doing for him. He's done everything he needs to do for him. So it's like this. Don't worry about Denzel liking his son, but worry about everyone in the world trying to respect his son. And he has to make that on his own.
I like how they dwelled on the responsibility of family and not the love of family. Because a lot of times movies are all like lovey-dovey, they come together. But he's like, no, I don't have to love you. I don't have to like you. The only thing I have to do is make sure you're fed, clothed, and a roof over your head. He's like, no one said I had to like you. That was like an awesome speech, that whole little thing.
Oh, yeah, hands
where he
down.
goes at it. And like, I love the tension that it built up. Because like, he's like, put on the helmet, and you're like,
Oh, yeah. We have to talk about that,
phenomenal the way they like, he's like, strike one.
I've had those moments.
He's like, strike two.
Yo.
And then he's like, all right, this is the third strike. You better make sure you hit it out of the park. I mean, just the way they escalated the tension, each of that was phenomenal.
Oh, me personally, I've gone through that. I've actually had to go through my moment where it's like this. I had an ultimatum at one point in time when I was like about 17. My dad said, it's either A, after I've done fucked up doing something stupid, but it's like this. You have to choose. to get hit by a fucking extension cord, or lose all your shit for like a month. Yeah. I took the extension cord, and he respected me for that. Because like, yeah, it's like, fuck it. After that, I never got hit or anything else like that ever again.
Look, I mean, I'm gonna say this from just like a film and family standpoint. Like, this reaches out. It's rough, but it's very honest. It's very bold, and it's very true.
I want to say that, and it isn't. I don't feel like, even though it's predominantly black cast, that it's like racial type.
No, it's not.
Because I'm not black, but I feel like I can relate to this movie regard. Like, even with the crackers and the whatnot, he's always saying, but like I feel like it'll come across no matter what race of family you are, that it hits home directly.
And I love how the character also, like, everything that's done, every scene that's placed, and the fashion that it's a repercussion of what happens throughout this man's life.
Right.
And that, to me, is it's so engaging, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. And on top of that, there's something that, I feel like Fences is a movie where it's going to mature in time.
Yeah.
And there's something that anybody can take out of this. I think it was directed well, shot well, acting was exquisite. I mean, again, like Viola Davis, her standout moment definitely was when she finds out the truth about the affair. That's when I was like, wow, like, she's really putting her all in this.
Hard as nails. And then the after effect when she's like, the baby needs a mother,
but
you're womanless.
You're womanless. Mic drop, you said. I was like,
damn. Drop the mic. Walk away.
So, I'm going to say, I mean, like, we're getting an Oscar season. This is definitely well-deserved. I'm going to give Fences a 4 out of 4. That's just, I mean...
I can agree to that, definitely. If I normally do a 1 through 5 scale, I would definitely give it a 4 out of 5. If not, very 4.5. 4.5. It's like almost right there. The only thing I think that holds it back is that the way I want to say they probably held true to the play dialogue, because you first go in not expecting it's a movie, but it's treated more as a play, so that throws you off a little bit, and I think that's the only reason why it's a 4.5 and not a 5.
I was literally on the border of like giving it I'm gonna revisit this. I mean, I was on the border of giving it a 3.5, but then I said, like, you know what, like, keeping in mind that in time this is going to get better, and this has a lot of rewatch value, there's something I can get from this movie, I gave it that extra 0.5.
Yeah, this is definitely a movie that someone says, oh, I'm going to go see this. I'm like, oh, this movie is phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, one example is like the Oscars 2 years ago is Boyhood, for example. Like, that's a movie that literally it's a thing within itself because it's a one-time viewing thing. Because for starters, it's like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and it's like, what do you really get from it? It's pretty basic. This movie, while it seems basic, I feel like there's more in it.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's the subject material. It hits home.
Yeah.
Like, almost anyone can relate to this.
What about you, Rashawn?
Me, I'm going to give it a 4 also, but I enjoyed it for a lot of the points of, like, certain things, like, I like how they kept it small and to the family and the one friend. Mainly, you really didn't get into any other actors or anything else like that. You never got to see the side chick at all. So you never got to see. Yeah, like, you never.
It wasn't needed.
Exactly. So it's like, and you get to see like where Troy's coming from, and like something I've seen a lot that I go from personal experience of watching my dad and everything like that, like having these conversations with death and everything else like that. And you kind of see it like he saw it coming. He knew he was going to die like in time, but he's like, it's going to be a fight for him and to let go and everything else like that. And to see, okay, he died the way he was throughout the movie with the baseball analogies, everything else like that. Dying after swinging in the yard, playing baseball like he always did throughout the whole entire movie, and having these analogies and stuff like that. I was like, it's fine. He got to raise his daughter for a little while. At least she didn't go fatherless like that. And he got that time in there. And she does have a mother now, even though her mother died. But I kind of want to know if, like, most likely I don't think they'll ever explain it to her. So, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I have a feeling they didn't tell her that.
Well,
that's not
I don't expect them to. Or, like, even, like, with Corey, but I was like, wow, he hasn't been home. His sister doesn't even know him.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about, like, that's why I said I respect the editing so much, because think about the scene that happens before that. It's literally the fallout between him and Corey, and this is honestly from, like, that perspective. It's as if you're a fly on the wall, because the very next scene after he swings, it's years later, it jumps, and without saying it, you know he's dead, but it, boom, hits you, dead. but you don't know that he's dead. Just like real death, if anybody, for anybody who's experienced, out of nowhere, I'm like, wow, I don't believe they edited it like that. I'm like,
no closure. It's just he's dead.
it's perfect.
Yeah, it was basically like scene in, screen goes dark, new scene comes up, lights come on, whole brand new scene. You don't even know what's going on.
Don't know what's going on, but he's just dead, and it's like real life. People get taken out suddenly, and I love how they respected that. They made you feel like this was again, and because I went to you, I was like, what's the point of this? It seems like it's a day in the life, and I'm like,
Slice of
oh
life.
my gosh, it really is a slice of life. So I guess that concludes this podcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless any.
I'd say Scholastic Fences. Good movie to see during this winter break for most people. People on vacation.
Yeah,
right
take
now.
a break from Rogue One.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's gonna see that. But see this movie. You're gonna enjoy it. Probably bring up some family issues in there. Oh Jesus.
No, I'm going home. I'm gonna be like, oh.
Nah, but I do have to say I do love Viola Davis's character
Yeah.
for like what she did, and also for like how she had to deal with Corey at the end, like when he refuses, he wants to go to his father's funeral and everything else like that. It's like, and you see from her perspective like what she went through and everything like this, and all the hardships she's gone through, saying 18 years of her life for this man and everything else like that. And one thing that came to like really hope for her and to like get her life a little bit better was to see that the woman he had an affair with died and left a baby, and she gets to raise that baby.
Yeah, second
It's-
life or a second chance.
And as a daughter, so it's like
Yeah.
after all these years, like this, like she gets to have her moment and like someone to really look after besides her son.
Blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
All right, so until next time, this has been Jared Avery.
Angel Rook.
For Sean.
All right, remember to like us on our Twitter page, Facebook page, Podomatic, iTunes. I have a little memorial that I'm working on for 2016. It's going to be a pretty long list, but we have that. We're trying to find it. We were originally going to have Throwback Thursday for this week, but we couldn't find the DVD. We were going to watch postcards from The Edges in honor of Carrie Fisher, but R.I.P. Carrie Fisher. And be sure to check out, speaking of Carrie Fisher, be sure to check out our Rogue One video for our Easter egg. So, all right, until next time, remember, we do for the sake of the podcast. Until next time.
We're out.
Peace.